Melanie Costello, previously Boulter, was a fictional character in the UK soap opera Family Affairs, played by Rebecca Hunter from September 2003 until May 2005. Melanie returned in December 2005 for the final week of the series. Arrival. Melanie first arrived in Charnham in September 2003, along with her parents Gary, Chrissy and her 8-year-old sister, Chloe. Gary had recently lost his job, and the family were forced to move from a mansion in Chigwell into number 12 Stanley Street, which had recently been vacated by Jim Webb, his sister Karen, Karen's husband Matt and their daughter, Grace. Mel struggled to adjust to life in Charnham. Her boyfriend, Bradley Foster, had gone traveling to Australia and Melanie was finding it difficult to get work. Melanie tried the local pub, the Black Swan, but was rejected after her new friend Lucy Day mentioned to the landlord, Pete Callan, that Melanie was underage. Melanie eventually managed to land a job working for Roy Farmer at the Cyber Cafe. Trouble with drugs. Mel had a brief experimentation with drugs and offered her new friend Lewis Davenport some pills. Lewis had an adverse reaction and collapsed. Lewis assured Mel that he took the pills of his own accord. Further problems arose when Chloe, Mel's younger sister, discovered the pills in her and took one, causing her to fall into a coma. Luckily, Chloe recovered. Gary was forgiving, but Chrissy was still angry. Eventually Chrissy forgave Mel, but the Costellos' problems were far from over. Relationship with Brendon Bolter. At the end of 2003 and the beginning of 2004, Mel began dating Brendon Bolter, her friend Kelly's brother. During a dinner at the Costellos, Chrissy talked non-stop about Mel's previous boyfriend Bradley. Chrissy had made it abundantly clear that she wasn't happy with Mel dating Brendon, who she hardly knew. Despite this, Mel continued seeing Brendon, unaware that he was living a double life. Accessory to deception. After suspicions from Pete Callan's wife Eileen, which were later confirmed by local nurse Tanya Woods, Chrissy had been exposed for lying about Chloe having cancer and was arrested. Melanie was later held in custody after taking £500 from Chloe's account for Lewis to feed his drug addiction. Melanie was later forced to pay back the money. Brendon's revelation. At Brendon and Melanie's engagement party, which was held at the Boulter's place, Brendon told the truth about him being bisexual, and Mel promptly called the engagement off after outing him. After much coaxing, Mel decided to go to New York City with Brendon, who had originally bought the tickets as an engagement present. Surprise marriage. On their return, Mel and Brendon surprised their families by announcing they had gotten married while in New York. Chrissy was against the idea and wanted the marriage annulled, but Gary talked her out of it. Mel and Brendon were happy living at number 16 along with Brendon's family for the time being. Marital breakup. In November 2004, on the day of the christening of Brendon's niece Susie, Melanie found out that Brendon had lied to her once again about Jason, a man who identified himself as Brendon's boyfriend. Melanie decided to end it once and for all. Graham Harker and exit. In March 2005, Melanie began dating Graham Harker, much to the chagrin of her in-laws, the Boulter family. Denise identified Graham as her rapist. Melanie refused to believe this claim and stood by Graham until one day Graham lost his temper and hit her. It wasn't until Graham was arrested for kidnapping Denise that Melanie began to realize the truth. Following Gary's acquittal of assaulting Bradley for molesting Chloe and her parents' remarriage, Melanie decided to leave Charnham, leaving her family worried. Return. In December 2005, Melanie returned home just before Christmas and was greeted with a less than warm reception from Chrissy. Eventually things thawed and Melanie was back in the family bosom.